So, wait, is Danu here?
Bro, this guy's Wi-Fi is a bit.
Daniel,
I know.
Yeah, Daniel's proper now.
I'm not sitting on the floor anymore.
Okay, so basic idea. Okay, from here we're gonna start recording. Okay, so basic idea was that I talk a lot of shit. Okay, and with different people, and I like a year and a half ago, um, got into like listening to podcasts, and a lot of times like they talked about things, and I wanted to pitch in, but like I can't talk to my fucking phone. So and a lot of conversations I had, I found them interesting, so I just wanted to um, record them. And point being that I just wanted to put them online, and I don't really care who listens to them or what people's reactions are. I just want to record it. So yeah, so I just thought of like getting people who I can talk to like properly, and then do something.
that's a good idea. I get that.
I fuck with that.
Yeah, bro, I
So,
like that. Bro, let
Okay,
me
What
just
was
start
your
posting.
What was your idea for today's podcast? Like, why did
yeah.
you want to do this specific topic?
So this is something I like. I put a comment on someone's Instagram post saying like the problem with the world is that everyone thinks that they're Truman, and it was just I just commented just to piss off that person, but then I realized like it's kind of true, and I'm not like what I wrote this because it'd be more impactful and like more attractive, but I'm not saying like everyone thinks they're Truman, but like that general mentality ke oh मैं ये करूँगा so like then people will watch me and then oh like people are looking at me, they're thinking about me and all that things, like sometimes you have this fear before doing something like log dekh rahe hain and all of that stuff. So it's that idea that the world doesn't revolve around you. A lot of times people just don't give a shit, you're just like a shadow in the background. And my view is not that like oh you don't matter or like stuff like that, but it's that concept ke basic concept dekh lo. For example, like in schools they talk a lot about bullying and bystanders, like ठीक है, and the thing is that bystanders don't step up because people are around them. If they do something or they'll react, or in different situations like online as well, like some people saying a lot of shit, a lot of people don't respond because oh other people read my comments and then judge me and all of that stuff. So this like people don't care about you that much that they'll be like hey, oh hi, and they'll speak about you for just a bit and then it's done. And this constant thought ke, oh people will think so much about me, oh everyone's eyes is on me and all that stuff. And then Truman ka ye hai na ki like all cameras were focusing on him, everything he said the whole world listened to it, everyone judged him in that way and all of that stuff. So I just believe that's the problem with people, because that stops change, that stops innovation, that stops people from stepping out and being confident. And also the thought that people think
Well,
that the world revolves around them, and that's kind of annoying as well.
so while you were talking, I just brought up the post which you had originally commented on because I remembered it, and my first reaction when I first comment, like when you first commented that, my first response was like, I mean, and this I'm reading it directly. I mean, yeah, but I guess part of the whole appeal of the movie was like the reason the movie appealed was because of how universal the feelings of being controlled by external forces are in humans. And then I wrote that I don't think it's necessarily a problem, just that everyone is the main characters of their own stories. And like, so what you're talking about is like how people have like these egos and like they have the sense of self, like they feel like the world revolves around them. And sure, maybe the world isn't about you, but your world revolves around you. So I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate and go against what you're saying. Like I get what you're saying. I understand that, but at the same time, like for some, like why is that a bad way of thinking? Like because if you go down this this train, like logical train, you say, okay, I don't matter, then and I've fallen trapped like to this before. Like I've thought about this. I've been like, if I don't matter because, I'm a small, insignificant being, then no one matters because everyone is a small, insignificant being. And if nothing matters, like if no one matters, then does anything matter? Does anything I do matter? I can do anything. I can kill anyone. I can like if if you go down this path of like nihilism, then you know what matters at all.
No, like the thing is that I don't matter का पूरा नहीं है. It's just that के understanding that all situations, everything is not based on you. And a lot of things that come to my mind is also like, you know how people come on social media platforms and talk about issues, and they get so passionate about it, thinking in their head कि लोग ये पढ़ेंगे दुनिया बदल जाएगी. You need to realize how insignificant some things you do are. And like people want to matlab, do things to show people stuff, and people stop thinking personally. And because it's that whole thought ke, okay, people are focusing on me, people are thinking about me, people are going to judge me and all of that stuff. But if you stop thinking about that, that can lead to a lot of like self improvement and you working for stuff in the world as well.
So for me, honestly, when I read the topic, for me, I thought that what you meant by this was more of like targeting like us and our like selfishness, like the basic, like
Yeah,
inherently
that
all
too.
humans are selfish. Yeah. So that's how I perceive this topic. I didn't really think about it in terms of like ego and like log kya kahenge, but that is a valid point as well. But for me, I just feel like why it's important to realize that the world doesn't revolve around you is because I just feel like if we are caught up in our lives and we feel like are so selfish in what we do in our actions in our daily life, then we don't really care about other people. We don't really like advocate for any social causes and stuff. We just think that we're getting the AC, we have electricity, like logo, like everyone else can like bhar mein jaye wo log. So that's why I feel like that's important. And what Saad said about nihilism, I feel like what Zubi, what you said that you're not talking about that like nothing matters. It's about like realizing that fine, you matter, but other people matter as well. Because like I feel like all humans, like all of us, if you look at in terms of biology, I'm gonna go a bit like sciencey now. But when we study bio, you me, Zubi, we take it and we look at like cells and like entire organ systems. It's like different systems, different cells working together as one. So that's how I perceive it. Like we have to realize that chalo, we have to look out for ourselves, but also other people and just work together to progress
Yeah,
together.
that's the thing. That's the thing with the whole Truman thing. Like even a lot of times, like the reason why I think about these things is because I realized how I used to think Pele. Because before though it was something like, see, my life, like I'd view myself as like Batman, and everyone else is just like a background character. Um, and I stopped giving importance to those people. Like before, I used to judge a lot of people. I used to say shit a lot to a lot of people because, like, I mean, who gives a shit, man? And then I later realized that, see, they're not just random people who are insignificant and everything, and I'm like the main guy in the show. They're in their life, what Saad said, like you are the main character of your own story, but that doesn't mean everyone else is completely useless. And you're running around like you're running through your storyline or what's up, and you're just like ignoring these people on the side. You're ignoring all the problems in the world and all of that stuff because that's not affecting you. So for you to that's not happening and stuff like that. So to realize that, okay, yeah, like even on a street, this guy standing next to me, he is important and he has the same value as I do. So rather than just passing by, not caring about him, क्योंकि, oh, he's poor, he's wearing shalwar kameez, he's like selling stuff on the road. I mean, why do I care? And a lot of times when you drive past these people in your cars, you don't, many people don't look out and see के ओ वो रोड पे जो बच्चा बेच रहा है कुछ वो अभी क्या कर रहा है, why is he doing that and all that stuff, because it's my life, I'm the main guy, that kid is completely useless. and so that causes people to be, yeah, selfish and not step out, because then there's that thought, okay, other people don't matter at all. Because in
Wait, so
Truman, everyone else is pretty much like a prop.
yeah, literally. But with Zubair, how would this idea of realizing that you're like not the only important, like significant thing, and that other people are also important, and like how you said that you used to like judge people at first, and like now you're saying that now you like think of other people, how they're important too, and you think about them. So how would that work with like what you initially said about how we don't matter, like and like not really don't matter, but that we're insignificant to what other people think, and they won't like really think about us, and we can do what we want without them judging us or thinking about us.
It's not like, okay, what you said, like, matlab, it's not like going on a rampage and start killing people and stealing stuff, because, oh, I mean nothing to these people. But it's that thought, okay, if everyone starts thinking in this way that, okay, my value is the same as the person next to me in like a bus, my value is the same as the guard that works outside, and all of us have our own stories, and just because I'm in a better position and I'm doing it from my perspective doesn't mean I'm superior and they're not, I'm more important and they're not. So if everyone has this thought and realize that how big the world is, and how, like, by insignificant I mean, like, people hold themselves at a very high position, and if you start viewing at it at everyone at the same way, so then that creates that can lead on to things like, helping people more. That removes that greed for money, because, okay, money, I need money and all that stuff, but so do these people. They're not just random props. I need to help them. And then there's also things like you stop thinking about what other people will say and all that stuff, because you don't have cameras at you like all the time, you don't have people looking at you all the time. And so it gives people more confidence to go about and do things, step against what's wrong, and lead to innovation, change, evolutions, and all these kind of things. So it like
But
it
Zubair,
like
one thing you
contributes
said,
to everything.
how you said that people don't feel like they feel less confident if they feel like people are watching them. I feel like sometimes it can be the opposite. Like people are just like, everyone's watching me. I have to do really cool. I have to do really good. I have to prove myself. Like the whole world is okay. Imagine we're going from a perspective of someone who does think they're Truman. They think they're the, like, or they went like they felt like they were the most important person. So they were operating on this have this whole sense of like motivation. They feel like I have to do this, I have to reach this next level of height because everyone's watching me. And I mean, like for example, so many rappers and stuff, like we talk about like you were talking about how they're like selfish and stuff. Fine, they are selfish. But and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that," like that bravado, that like. But it also leads to like ambition. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's necessarily like the like what you're focusing on about like the movie Truman. Like the way you phrase the topic, right, is that the problem with the world is that everyone thinks that they're Truman. But like even in the movie, okay, like imagine you think you're the main character of a show. Fine, if you think you're the main character of a show, what wouldn't you want to treat the people around you better because everyone's watching you, so you want to be the best version of yourself so that you can impress everyone who's watching you. And like, chalo, fine, maybe they're side characters, they're props, but like even like the nicer the main character in a show is to the side characters, the more empathetic of a character they are, and the more like you want to watch them, and the more like you sympathize with them. So if someone operated on that basis, okay, like I'm the main guy, it's a flawed way of thinking, but you said that it's the biggest problem with like it is one of the problems of the world. Um, I think sometimes that way of thinking can directly or indirectly lead to good. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
um my thing on this topic is like what you said right now is, yeah, okay, but what if we all work as a unit because we understand that we're equal? and they'll most probably bring better change than just one guy. Like you said, some people get confidence through the idea that people are watching and then like to do something or what's up. But like, I mean, it's also that thing, that Japanese thing of like the three masks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what if like that inner mask, you're actually nice and all that stuff, and you want to bring about change, but you will be judged by the world for these things. And was not everyone thinks in like a nice way. It depends on the people you're surrounded by and all that as well. Like it's that whole thing. Okay, if you're in a group of friends and then they're annoying this one guy, yes, in movies and all that stuff, everyone steps forward, but आप में वो भी होता है कि यार, if I do, what if they make fun of me and all of that stuff. And I'm not just saying कि one guy specifically does that. Everyone's been in that situation. Because not everyone gets confidence from like having everyone's attention on them. It makes them more like restricted and all that stuff. If you remove that and you put everyone at the same level, it's like okay, it increases that idea of people working together. It destroys that thing of like importance in terms of class and all as well, because everyone has the same importance or what's up. So, like Nabil said, like a body full of cells, you're working together towards a goal despite like a few people being confident by having this attention or with and this mindset. And then some people like completely shattered because, oh, people are looking at me, everyone's focusing on me. And like some people even have stage fright, man. And then that constant thought that people are looking at you, that'll just like that'll prevent you from being yourself. And so it's always better that
Yeah.
everyone works towards a goal rather than just one guy pushing towards it, some people being left behind, some people in the middle confused where to go. And is the whole concept, okay, if you remove that idea that everyone is, what do you call it? Like, if you create that idea that everyone is equal, everyone has the same importance, everyone is the main character, or everyone is the side character. So you'll break that barrier of, oh, I need to prove myself. I need to do like like as you said before also that you act more nice to other people so that you get like the audience like what did you say? Like yeah,
Yeah.
you're basically becoming a better
Become a more
person.
empathetic
Yeah,
character. Yeah.
yeah. So that's also
Yeah.
becomes kind of selfish because you're doing it because
Oh,
you
okay.
think other people are looking at
You're
you.
right. Can I just like build on this thing? So I was reading this psychological profile of Zulfikar Ali, and it's a really interesting book. I don't have it on me right now, but it was written by Shamim Ahmed. He's a Pakistani author. It was really interesting. Basically, he talked about how Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he was like this persona. He did all these like amazing things. Till today, people in villages like worship him. G.A. Bhutto comes like and like people talk about him all the time. Fine, like he created a political dynasty that lasts till today, no matter how like flawed it is. But he like personally I feel like he was a very like arrogant selfish person, but I also look up to him in some ways because of the way that he achieved certain things. And one of the things like one of the stuff like that he said was that so Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he came from this family like this really his father was really aristocratic and like he was a landlord a politician, but his mother was like a Hindu, like she was not I don't know if she was Hindu, but she was not like of the same social status. And he was like she was a second or third wife, or like not even married to him. And he was kind of like, he was his son, but he was not like a loved son. And this like lack of love in like childhood, it led him to want like for the rest of his life, he was motivated by this like slightly selfish need to be loved by everyone around him. So like he tried to do all these like great social things, but it was still like a selfish endeavor. Like even if he was trying to be like he was trying to make up for it, right? Like he wanted to, and like it was motivated by like hubris and motivated by like arrogance. He wanted to, bro. Like the book explains it better. If I'll try and find it and like read stuff, but they explain like proper like psychological, um, just like like they diagnose him kind of like they give different various diagnoses, and they talk about like how same way what you're saying, like people sometimes when they feel like they need to like get that attention or love from other people, they do these like absurd things to like try and like get that. And lots of times they're motivated by like having a stage in their life where they felt like they weren't getting enough attention or something like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, like what Saad said. I mean, I don't know, Zubi, you said that, like, if you're doing good, then that's also for selfish reasons. So this always like interested me before. So I was just like searching on this Pele, and I just came across this one like thing online that said like, you can take anything that humans do and put it like through an egocentric lens. You can say that, for example, if you're giving someone a gift, like in your like you have a friend and you're giving them a gift and you're getting them like a pretty nice watch, for example, you're doing that because you want your friends to appreciate you. You want your in their mind, you want your respect to go like higher. You want them to like you more. So in a way, you're like doing it for selfish reasons as well because you want to build a stronger relationship. Now that's just it's a different way of looking at things, but you can say that about anything that we do, that's all like egocentric and we're all fueled by our own selfishness. So that is one like valid point that I thought that was raised right now.
I
And another
definitely agree with
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
We
And
continue,
another thing,
continue.
yeah, sorry. But like what Zubi said before, like what Saad and Zubi were talking about, like Saad had a different perspective. He said people are fueled by that. What Zubi said was some people would like be scared of like actually acting out and doing stuff. So I feel like it just depends on the person. And people are different. Like if you look at it in terms of bio again in a body, they're like no cells are the same. It's all different variety of people, different personalities. So some people like crumble under that pressure when they have cameras on them, like Zubi said. But some people are like fueled by that. So at the end of the day, why I feel like this people viewing themselves as Truman is a big problem for me personally is because like Zubi, what you said about like if you look at someone at the street, a passerby, and you don't realize how complex their life is. But there was this word called sonder, I think, and it's like a phrase that basically describes this feeling. Yeah, Saad knows. It describes the feeling like when you're in a car, for example, and you look into another car, and you realize that like in your car there's like so many different like relationships, different like complex things happening day to day life, and in someone else's car it's like the exact same story. It's like when you have that realization that like each person's life is so complex and different. I've said complex like three times now, but it's so like detailed, and it's not just about you. And I feel like why that's an issue is because like when we see on the news and newspapers about people like dying and stuff, and like we just are so desensitized to it because we see them as like some random people. But if we start viewing people as like wo mera bhai hai, like that he's my brother, he's my fellow sister, I mean she's my fellow sister, like we're all connected, we're all on the same level, then I feel like we'd start giving a shit and we'll actually like work together and try to actually solve some issues rather than just being scared or being so desensitized to all
Yeah,
this.
so what you said about the realization, like for example, the person in the next car is having the same complex life as I have. That'll also like produce this idea that understanding everyone's uniqueness and complexity of life and their problems and all that will make us appreciate each other more. We're put in this system where we're graded according to specific requirements. We're labeled as genius or dumb, successful or not, because of specific requirements. And that system has also taught us to, okay, the backbenchers, no one cares about them. Like they'll not get anywhere in life. They're insignificant. But then if you think about them, they have their own skills. They are important as well. They have complex personalities. And also, just because you don't know their story doesn't mean that they're these shallow people who have no depth and all that stuff. And once you realize that everyone stands equally, everyone has that same story, everyone is the main character, you start to appreciate everyone as well. And that also challenges the thing of like judging people or what's up. You realize that okay, the problems I have, this person has too. Skills and talents that I might have, that person may have things better than me. And it makes you like, it creates this positive environment for everyone where everyone acknowledges each other's complexities and also starts to like matlab understand everyone and understand everyone stands on the same level, and it creates feelings of this like brotherhood and everything. So I think everyone should take some time and understand that yes, in your life you are the main character, but that doesn't mean that you just ignore everyone else around you, rich or poor or whatever. Because yeah, I don't know. His story is probably just this guy who comes here, works 9 to 5, and then just goes back home, feeds his family bus. And for a lot of people, though, like for our teachers, all our interaction or knowledge about them is they come to school bus. Uske baad
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a family life. Like when I was younger, I
No.
used to think that teachers don't have
Yeah,
a
same,
family life.
same.
I never realized that they have their own
Yeah.
lives. They've been through this process as well.
Like this is something that I've brought up with like my friends so many times. Like people like okay, so fine, you're talking about like how every person is the main character of their own story, and I find that's it's easier to empathize with certain people than it is with other people because like sometimes with other people you're like, okay, what does this person bring to the table, or like what what or like you're just like I remember one of my other friends, he came, we were on the roof and we were like I don't know, we were doing something, and like he just looked at us and he was just like, he listed some people, and he was just like, people like this, they don't have any interest, they're not passionate in things, they don't do anything. Like, why are they alive? What's their purpose? I was just looking at him like, bro, what the hell are you trying to say? Like, you're supposed to like kill them or something. He was just like, yeah, if they died, why would it matter? They don't have any purpose in life. And I was just like, bro, what the, like, relax. That's messed up.
Okay, I would have
And
guessed
like,
this being Nabil, but then that
No, no,
extreme
that
thing
wasn't
at
me.
the end made me realize
That
no,
was
it
me.
can't be him.
Yeah.
no,
I
no, it can't be.
remember this. I was like, I remember someone saying this, and I was thinking Nabil. Like, I don't remember who it was.
No, 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 that wasn't me. I remember. No, but again, it's like we're so desensitized. We're like, bro, what matters and like who cares about their lives? It's like it revolves around us. Like, who cares if those people die? It's not going to affect us in any way. And that's a weird way of thinking, but some
But
lots
like,
of
just
people
because it
believe
won't
it.
affect us doesn't mean it's like not affecting so many other people. It's just like not significant to us. Like, it's still significant to them. Still the main story, like main character of their lives in so many other
Yeah,
people's lives.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's that
Bro,
also
but
that thing that yeah. Go on.
I wasn't making a point. I was just remembering that me and Daniel, we watched the Truman Show together. Because like I'd watched it before. He was at my house, and I was like, we were talking about something. I don't remember what we
Didn't
were
we
talking about.
watch
I was
it
like,
in like
bro,
that philosophy society in like middle section and
yeah,
stuff?
bro, I've watched this movie many times. I think it's like
I
I've
just
watched
watched
it
it alone, bro. Like I
many
was, I
times.
was
I
sad,
watched.
fucker.
It's a really good movie, bro. Like I've watched it
Yeah.
Yeah.
like 3 4 times. Like I remember once we watched it in this philosophy class. Bro, Danya, what were we talking about that day? Like we were talking about something, and you were at my house. Like, bro, what? You have to watch this movie, and we just watched the whole movie. I think
Yeah. Like
we were
mid
talking about
conversation, you
something.
were like, "Shit, this like relates to this so well." And I don't remember.
I don't remember the topic either. But we were talking about something really like
Yeah, it's relates to
because
this only.
so there, you were talking when you first gave us this topic. Problem with the world is that everyone thinks that they're Truman, bro. So fine, like I mean, this whole sense of self and like ego idea is like kind of really important aspect of the movie. But another aspect which I thought about was like everyone feels like the world is against them. Like everyone feels um okay, so many times like
Yeah, I
people
also
I've
wanted to
talked to,
come to this that like everyone has this thing that the system is against me and I have to break free.
yeah, yeah, bro. Like everyone
System
is
is
just like
flawed, bro. Yeah.
so many people I talk to, they're just like I know like when they don't get promotions or something, they're just like, bro, ye to aise hi hai, or they don't get a gown, or they don't like get the grades they want. They're just like, bro, this is, they're all against me, and like, this is like, they just feel like there's a conspiracy
Bro,
of the world against them. And I'm not saying that necessarily the world is fair and stuff, but I'm also like, it's kind of like self-centered to think that it's specifically about you, like, like the world's trying to screw you over. And then
like
there's the whole
especially
thing
in
about
this
like,
year in like 2020.
With the
Bro,
Tanvir
Tanu's
just
frozen, I think.
mute himself.
You Tanu.
Wait, I think he's frozen. He's
Hello.
just
Wait, everyone's stuck on my screen.
bro. Nanu, you're the main story. It's okay. No, everything revolves around you. Wait, what's happening?
Also, yeah, I think it gives you more confidence. Like personally, for myself, I'm not talking for everyone. But for myself, like it gives me confidence to think, okay, yeah, I'm not the main guy. Like, छोटी सी example. Let's say we're on an online class, and my camera gets stuck at a very weird position. ठीक है, like mid sneeze or something. I'm gonna like panic. I'm gonna be like, holy shit, people are gonna see this, they're gonna laugh and this, that. Whereas in reality, most probably everyone's just focusing on class. And it's that thing,
Yeah.
yeah, stop giving a shit about like, yeah, people are looking at you, all that stuff. Sometimes like, even when I'm in my room, like I don't do this anymore, but when I was younger, I used to like look around and be like, holy shit, someone's watching me. And and it's like I'd become rigid, like I'd stop doing what I was doing and I'd just sit still and stuff like that. It's very stupid, but is that whole idea like when I started thinking ke, yeah, matlab, I'm not the most important person and all of that stuff. And I believe that everyone is just a small part of the world and everyone is insignificant relative to what they give, like the importance they give themselves. Okay? But everyone has potential of being a bigger, like someone bigger than they are right now. Okay? But I just think that that whole idea of like after watching Truman, like when I started thinking, oh shit, like someone's watching me and all that stuff, and like started thinking, wait, maybe I am Truman. When I stopped thinking like that, when I started keeping myself at the same level as everyone else, that gave me confidence. Gave me confidence to step up, to do things, to help, to like talk about things. It gave me that confidence to do this podcast because I don't really care कि, like people see it or not. Like I don't really care because I know कि I'm not the main guy. It's not like if some person says something, so the writer is gonna make like this big old stress and like a big drama and a big scene, and my life's gonna go to shits. I understand कि यार मतलब I don't have to act a specific way because not everyone's looking at me and all that stuff. It gives me
You know what you
confidence
were saying?
personally.
You know what you're saying about being alone in a room and just like thinking stuff like, okay, so I agree with you that it's a wrong way of thinking. You shouldn't think like you're the main guy. And most of the points that I've made justify like defending that point were just me playing the devil's advocate and just arguing for the sake of arguing rather than stuff I believe in. But like anecdotally, bro, sometimes when like this you're talking about how this makes you less confident, to be honest. Sometimes thinking like that makes me more confident. And maybe it's a wrong way of thinking, but like it's just helpful sometimes. Like, sometimes I feel like, bro, I'm not doing this right. And I'm just like, no, but I will succeed because I have to succeed because like that's why I'm alive. Like I was alive to do this specific thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
my
understand,
story.
but
It has
like
to be.
that's me too when the stakes are high, but I'm talking about like basic everyday life.
Bro, okay, like sometimes if I'm in the bathroom and I'm taking a shower, bro, I'll pretend like I'm in some music video or like when I'm driving, I'm bro, like everyone's watching me, I'm in like a music video. Like I mean it's the wrong way of thinking, but like people think like that. Like it's not necessarily a bad thing to like be bro, it probably is it is a bad thing. I'm just saying that like you were saying where you get conscious about like thinking that people are watching you. Sometimes I'm like alone in my room doing weird hell things. Like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just like, bro, it's cool. I should have recorded that. It would be so cool to watch for something like it's dumb. Like but I'm just like
No, but
putting
it,
it
it
out
definitely
there.
gives me, it would give me more confidence to know that like I'm important and significant and like people are watching me than just being like someone that's like insignificant as everyone else. That wouldn't give me confidence if I'm like insignificant.
Bro,
It depends on the person.
Yeah, I
do you
also
think some
think
people?
it's yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, do you think some people, if given the opportunity, would want to live the life of Truman from the Truman Show? They'd like they'd want to actually be in a team. Like we're talking about like hypotheticals and like applying them to like our life, but like imagine like do
But
you think some
see,
people are that
yeah,
self-centered?
like personally, I would not want to be in the Truman Show, because that whole concept is that you don't know you're part of the show. It is
Yeah.
your life. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to reach that age of like 32, 35, realize my wife is fake, my mom is an actor, doesn't really give a shit about me. My friends, like they're putting fucking AdWords in my life. And it's that thing ke I'm not like, it may be new experiences for me, it may be normal for me, but everything is a lie.
Bro,
Like,
I would hate it. I would want it to um I would hate it, but I know that certain people would like it. Bro, there's a whole thing in like the Matrix. Like there's the guy, one of the revolutionary fighters. He makes a deal with the Matrix people. Okay, like bro, with Agent Smith, he's like, I don't like I don't like the knowing that everything is fake anymore. I wish. Then he sells out all the other people fighting like on the side of the bro. I'm using the wrong terminology, but like you get what I mean. Not okay, like, one of that bald guy, bro. He literally goes, he sells them out. He tells them where all the other like freedom fighters are, and he's just like, put me back in the Matrix and wipe my memory, so I never know that any of this is fake. Because living in ignorance like that was like blissful. Like, I liked it, even if it was fake.
but like, man, also the thing that a guy had cameras in his washroom, the guy had cameras in
Yeah,
his
that creeps me
bedroom.
out, bro.
There's no privacy. So even if I get to break the system, that's not gonna make my life better. Like, if
Yeah.
once at
Wouldn't
an
they turn the
age,
cameras around when he's like fucking and shit? I swear they did.
Yeah, they do. They pan the camera away, but like
Bro,
the
I
camera
think that's
like they can
Nanu,
see
that's
it.
the
No, bro,
Okay,
keep
go
this
on,
in,
go
keep
on.
this in. But like,
yeah.
what I think people would want is like a Matrix type thing where they're in a simulation, like they're in some pod, some simulation pod. They're not being watched by people, but it's just that they're being in their own world. They're like in a simulation where things go their way. They
You
are the main
remember that
character in
game
that.
from Rick and Morty, where like
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was talking about. Yeah,
Morty
that.
like gets in the game and he lives an entire life and
Yeah,
then he comes back.
exactly.
Yeah, like
People
I
wouldn't mind that. Like,
yeah,
honestly, I don't think
that's
people
I
would
would
fine
mind.
mind.
because no, because the thing is that I all of that stuff just happened in my head. In real life, like if I was in the Truman Show and at a point I realized that okay, all of this is fake. I have a choice. I have a choice to either stay here and live like according to whatever the people choose, or I step out in the world. Where the thing is, if Truman stepped out in the world, he'll still be Truman. He'll still have everyone just pointing at him in the streets, everyone focusing at him. He has he had no privacy. All of that is out there. He is still gonna be looked at, and matlab, everything in his life is out there. Every new experience for him was a new experience for other people as well. And it's that he loses that sense of person. Like, matlab, it wasn't just my life. Other people lived my life. And but then also, if I stay in the system, I'm constantly knowing that like everything is fake. It's just I never want to be in Truman's position.
But like up till now, we're talking about how like people like about like knowing that you're in a fake world and like just being fine with that, or like not knowing you're in a fake world, like how you're talking about the guy in the Matrix wanted to go back, or like
Yeah.
Nabil was mentioning that he wouldn't mind being the people wouldn't want to be in like a fake world. But like if it coming to this topic, how like you'll come out of the show and people will know you on the streets and everything, all your experience will be a new experience. I'm sure there are people who would like that too. Like for example, keeping up with the Kardashians, the entire like it's a reality show, but like like the people who like want that attention. Like I'm sure people would want that also.
No, but the
Yeah,
thing is, why not in the Kardashians, they know they're being recorded. They can act a specific way. They can control what's going out. That guy, like that guy could have been saying some racist shit and it's recorded and it's gonna be in the world. He can't control the content out there. He can't control a specific image out there. So like, matlab, everyone knows everything about you. Everyone's seen you take your first steps. Everyone remembers parts of your life where you weren't even conscious. And it's that thing that there's no privacy. They know my secrets, which I've told to my best friends. They've seen everything that's happened around me. They've seen the problems I've gone through. They know my bad habits. They know my weird personality. And then
Bro,
it's
your
going
search
on.
history, yeah, that's the main thing.
नहीं तो
Off
वही ना
scenes, yeah.
वही वही मतलब like I have two choices. I can go in the real world, everything everyone knows everything about me. I'm gonna have either a very successful life as like a star, but still people know everything about me. It's gonna be freaky as shit. And if
Bro,
I
but like
choose to stay in the simulation, like then though it's like life is pointless.
that is applicable to like Danya gave this example of keeping up with the Kardashians. Bro,
That was interesting. Yeah.
Travis Scott's daughter, what's her name? Stormy, bro, it was born into this. She had no option that I want to live in like that thing. People have known her since literally like since that pregnancy announcement. People have been like, people are weird as hell about the Kardashians, bro. I don't know what the hell. Like I've never seen an episode of it, but like, bro, the stuff that people like online say about their family is just so weird. Like that girl has no sense of privacy. She bro, there are videos of her sleeping online and like stuff like that.
Bro, literally, like her first picture posted was the most liked picture on all of Instagram. Like anyone's could be like compared to Truman. Like obviously it's not even close, but like it would be
Bro,
here.
world record egg, yeah.
Okay,
Don't
yeah.
disrespect.
Okay, so what would you do? How would you
Was
react if right now something happened and you realized you are Truman?
Bro, I think I'd
I'd want to
totally
leave.
adapt to it. Like it would be messed up, but I think I'd use it as like a platform to like talk about stuff that I care about. Like fine, it would be really messed up. I'd become depressed and stuff, but I think on like a public level, like if you basically, do you mean like if I found out I was Truman and I still had to like live in this way, or
No,
I found out I'm Truman and I could leave?
it's just the like the movie. You
Yeah.
you
So if I
find out you're
left and I was like
Truman,
outside,
yeah.
if I left and I was like outside that dome bubble, and then like I was confronted by like all these millions of people who knew me, like fine, I'd be sent to stardom and whatever, but like I think I think I'd be able to like adapt to that. Like
But the thing is like for example, um you want to use your fame to talk about problems going on in the world. And then you realize when you get out, all the news you've been hearing, all the incidents that have happened are fake.
yeah, bro.
They just happened
H2
to,
never happened, bro.
yeah.
H2 never
And
happened.
and the thing
Yeah.
that like even if you talk about mental health and everything, you were exposed to things that people chose. Your person They had a lot of control over what your personality would have been like. Like they controlled the Truman's biggest fear.
Yeah.
They like matlab they did all of that stuff. ठीक है? They could have introduced clowns in the beginning and as like a horror thing. They could have created a fear of that. They basically molded his personality into a kind that they want. So he can't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
go in the world. You can't even go in the world and talk about things like mental issues and वो सब. पहली बात तो you don't know if that's actually happening in the real world. Second of all, people will start questioning के you don't know what it feels like to be a normal person and face these problems. Your personality, you didn't even have control over your personality.
A religious basics thing. So sometimes, like if I'm thinking about something, okay. So one of the one recurring theme we've been talking about is like simulations and stuff, right? So one thing I've thought about before. I mean, I don't believe in it, but it's something like just ideas like I've thrown around. Okay, it's imagine you live in a simulation, fine, and or have you seen this Black Mirror episode where there's like this dating app and like you're sent into like this thing and like you live like these many lives and the person that you match with the most amount of times, that's the person you match with in the
Yeah,
app. So, okay, imagine like think like this. So we live in this life, and you know how God in the Quran says we sent us down to this earth as like a test. So what if the test is a simulation and all of the people around us are either fake or maybe they're going through their own simulation somewhere. And however we react to the simulation and whatever we do in this simulation, then when we leave the simulation, then it's either like you pass the life or you fail the life, like by being a good person or bad
So
So
person.
that
Because
the
like
idea of religion is that I personally think the idea of Truman also came from the idea like this idea that okay, God is watching us and this is just an illusion and a test, and in the
yeah,
end
yeah.
we'll be judged on our performance. Like, matlab, I agree with what you say, and I believe that yes, it is an illusion because right now we can't judge how real this stuff is because we haven't seen anything beyond it. Okay,
Yeah.
so matlab life is matlab if you do believe that there's going to be an afterlife, you're going to be judged on whatever you're doing here. There's one being that can control what happens to you, what challenges you face, and all of that stuff. So it is an illusion. It is we Yeah, it is. It's all fake. But the thing is, all of us have been put into the simulation together.
But what if we weren't in the same simulation? Like what if I lived the simulation, everyone around me was like simulated,
like a
and I'm
robot,
not saying
yeah.
that I was the only person alive at all. I'm saying what if you as an individual are alive, but you live in your own simulation somewhere else? Like what if I'm a simulation for you? And like what if all the people who've ever lived, ever like are living in an isolated simulation where only they're alive, and any of the effects that they have on other people are not real effects on other people because those are like simulated people. I
No,
don't
but
know, bro. Like
the
it's
thing
just,
is
I mean,
the thing is
it's possible
your idea kind
because
of
like
confuses me because like okay, if you agree, if you believe in a superior being, like you believe in like God, okay, he created us in a specific way. So yes, we are a simulation for those around us, and the other people are a simulation for us. He can control our personalities and our actions towards other people. If he wants us to slap another guy, he's written it down. It is gonna happen. So like creating many forms of that same being, put them in different things as simulations. I don't understand that. He has all control over us. We just don't know what's gonna happen next.
okay, like imagine he's trying to test us. Fine, like I'm not trying to. This is not like religiously based in anything. It's just imagination. Fine, he's trying to test us. He wants us to see if we're good people or bad people, and he doesn't want to like risk. You know how so many people, like atheists, they use this idea of like, how could God cruel to kill so many children from bone cancer, or how could, if God was real, he'd be an evil God because he killed so many people. So what if all of the pain and suffering that happens to other people is fake? And like what if the simulation, like all of the things that I like, all the mistakes I make don't have real consequence? Like they do in the sense that I'm being judged for them, but they don't have real consequences in the sense that God isn't letting me hurt other people because he knows that I'm imperfect, and if he has control over me, like bro, okay,
But
wait, like
Saad, this is
if I
literally
was
like
living in a
another
reality,
version of the Truman like syndrome delusion or like
Yeah,
whatever. Like
yeah, that
you've
was what I
heard
was
of
gonna
that. That's
say.
literally is.
If you start believing that
yeah,
everyone
fine.
else is
Like
a
I mean that
simulation, so
that's
that's
what I
why
was
you,
basing it on, right? Like
Bro,
what if every time I'm like
Bro,
someone
I just don't
would
think you'd be that significant to God. Like it's not gonna make a separate like simulation. Like we're not that significant to like have our own separate like simulation where everyone else is
not
a
significant,
fake
but he's making
person.
one for
Like
everyone.
but what
yeah,
Saad
but
said reminded me of like you know how we're all main characters and then there's spin-off characters. Like you know in one show, for example, you have like people like for example if you look at Daredevil, okay, Jessica Jones is in Daredevil, okay, but in the Daredevil show she's like a secondary character, but then in her own spin-off
yeah.
show she's a main character. That would like make some sense, but at the same time it's already messy. Like it just
that
yeah, like
what
what
you
Danu
just
said is like
said,
then you're thinking in terms of like
Sal, what you just said, that's just messing with my head. And that's like there's so
Bro,
many.
in my opinion, to like actually think that is pretty delusional. Like I
Fine, like I don't
if like
actually believe
yeah,
in
yeah,
it.
I know, I'm not saying
yeah,
like I'm not
yeah.
saying yeah.
But bro, I mean, like then someone could say like most like lots of people say that like believing in God is like delusional. Lots of people
Yeah,
believe that
it's just people's opinion.
So
I
then we
mean,
get to like this illusion, like what the like no one knows what the real purpose is. But I feel like if you look at it from a historical point of view, it's just people gaining knowledge and just passing that down, and like that cycle just keeps on repeating over and over and over. Like I feel like that's one of our main purposes, and just to be as happy as we can while doing it. I mean,
No, I mean, yeah, like no one really knows the meaning of like life and the purpose, man. It's all just figuring it
yeah,
out.
Okay,
I think everyone has their own like, meaning in life.
so it's been an hour, okay, or like 50 minutes. So I'm a, I'm gonna end with this. I wanted to do this in the beginning, but I forgot. So
yeah.
I was talking to Nabil about this when you guys weren't here. I wanted to start this podcast now from February 2019. Okay? The only problem was finding people and then getting people who would actually talk about these subjects without going like, "Hey, that's so stupid, it's so irrelevant," all that stuff. Um, so I came up with the idea of this podcast, and I formed a group. I formed it with Asif and Mustafa, but they never got down to do it. So the concept of the podcast was to call it pi. Okay, pi meaning like that 3.142.
Why?
Yeah, because see,
Hmm.
pi being 3 and 1, the first two digits, 3 represents that there will be 3 guests every like thing. Okay, they can be the same, they can be different. There'll be 3 guests. There's one me, and the fact that the number goes on and on is to represent like the conversation goes on and on and on because these are like pretty open-ended like discussions. There's no right answer. It's it's it's
That's interesting. That's
it's
good.
very stupid, but like I really liked it. And
No, it's good.
No,
I
no,
like it.
I like
No,
it.
no,
I like
I
it.
like it. I like it. It's nice.
wait, Nabil,